Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of More Than Meets These Guys. This podcast is a journey through Transformers from the beginning of the animated series, with two old friends coming at it from different perspectives. Together, we will go episode by episode with the occasional extra to look at how the show holds up or if it's a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode and whether there were real-world factors that crept into the writing or if the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan, I'm a lifelong fan who's familiar with all aspects of the franchise and the fandom, while Ed, he's always been familiar with Transformers, but it was really nothing he got into. So thanks so much for joining us. And Ed, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. First of all, apologies for both of us missing last week. It was explained, and I don't want to explain anymore. So sorry about that. I'm glad we're back.
Yeah, it was your fault. I know.
It was. I'll take the fall, dude. Yeah, because in addition to not knowing anything about Transformers, I don't know anything about scheduling either. So, but also my apologies in advance if I sound weird this week. My throat is absolutely shredded at the moment. Last night, a friend of the show, Jason or Jehu from Real Phonies band played, and I went and checked them out. And I mean, I've seen them like a bazillion times, and I've probably seen them play more than I've seen any other band in the history of all bands. But it was a good time hanging out with them because I hadn't seen them in a long time. It was good hanging out. But I was talking over amps most of the night, and I'm afraid that my voice is kind of blown out, so I apologize for that.
Man, well, look at old punk can't hang anymore.
It was definitely a bunch of old dudes, old dudes hanging out. A lot of gray hair at the table, dude.
Man. And I already put up a quick episode of why I wasn't doing it last week, and Ed was right. He said, "Man, we can't do this. You're not going to be up for it," and I have scheduling problems. So, but kind of a little teaser. I'm hopefully getting something really cool out of going there last weekend and doing that. So I'm not going to say anything more until it happens. But some really cool bonus stuff hopefully coming up in the near future. So
yeah, I don't even know what it is. It's super top secret. I don't even have any idea what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't let him in on a lot of stuff.
I'm the last one, dude. I'm the last one to know. People in the Discord know stuff that's going on before I know what's going on. But speaking of Discord, though, somebody, I can't remember who it was, posted in the Discord asking what your least favorite cartoon was when you were a kid. Evan, what was your least favorite cartoon when you were a kid? What was the worst cartoon on TV when you were a kid?
There's a lot of them, because 80s was that era, the Reagan era of taking back the safety rails for what could be put out as kids programming. As long as you had a commercial or PSA with it, you could basically hawk any toy or whatever as a cartoon. So there's some bad ones. One that always jumps out at me, though, is Rubik the Amazing Cube. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I completely forgot about that. That was like the most shameless tie-in.
Oh, it was terrible.
Wow, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that show was terrible. The Pac-Man cartoon was probably pretty bad too, but I loved the Pac-Man cartoon at the time.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't terrible.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I remember seeing that when I was younger. I mean, I don't think it was that bad.
It was one of those things that I don't have I know I watched it, but the only things that I really remembered about it was one episode where Pac-Man had a toothache or something like that. He went to the dentist. And he had a ghost stuck in his tooth, so the dentist had to pull a ghost out of his tooth with pliers. And there was another one where there was a national crisis. The ghosts were going nuts, and the government had to intervene about the ghosts. So they had to go to the government. They had to go to the Yellow House.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the White House. It was the Yellow House.
That seems very monochromatic.
Well, it's also funny because what that implies is that the president lives in a place that's the color of his skin. So Pac-Man's the Yellow House. So the White House would imply that the U.S. is just run by white people. Which
I'm not saying anything more, dude. We're getting a different territory now.
Yeah. I mean, let's veer back onto some cartoons here too.
Too real bring back. Yeah, man. I'll tell you honestly, there were some stingers. I was looking through the proverbial list of everyone has an opinion. There was one called Beverly Hills Teens. That looks awful.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
But
Yeah.
okay, but most of all, do you remember the Mr. T cartoon?
Mr. T and the T-Force? Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Where he was like the coach for some acrobats,
yeah.
and they would travel around. Yeah, I remember that. And there was like a cereal tie-in for that too, Mr.
Mm,
T cereal, which was immortalized in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he's what he ate for
that's
breakfast.
right.
That was part of the breakfast
It
machine.
was
Was
T cereal bites.
yeah, there were little teas. That's right. There were little gold sweetened corn teas in there. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
That
sure
was
that's exactly what Mr. T would like.
I'm sure that's what he ate all the time back then
Yeah.
was some terrible high carbohydrate, high sugar cereal to get that to get ripped.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mr. T, there's a on the way to work. There's a like a garage where there's always like a lot of like older cars out there that got this. I guess this mechanic is working on. And for the last 2 weeks, there's been an A-team van there with the paint job, with the black with the red stripe on the side. But on the back, there's a giant like mural of the A-team. I
Nice.
know. I'm like, man, I wonder if it's for sale. I would totally drive a.
No, someone's keeping that. That's a gem. That is the
Yeah.
number one thing in their collection, man.
So, but in that conversation about bad cartoons, though, somehow I remembered a couple of ones that were like strangely good because my reflexive answer for like a bad cartoon usually is things that aren't targeted at me that I'm just like, especially if they're in like a different age bracket. Like anything. My sisters are a little bit younger than I am, so anything that they would have liked. So like those younger girl cartoons, like My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake and
Yeah.
Rainbow Bright and that kind of stuff. That stuff I thought was trash. I thought that was the worst trash. But however, I will say, Jim and the Holograms, pretty decent show.
It was well, I mean, think about it. It was like the people who did G.I. Joe and everything. It was a Sunbow cartoon. It was
it was
basically
Sunbow also. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
It was kind of their answer for girls.
Fair enough. But see, so that got me thinking about this though. Are there women our age out there that do podcasts like this, like these kind of cultural anthropology or archaeology podcasts on shows like Jim and the Holograms?
Huh.
I wonder. And if there are, I bet I want them. I want to know all about them. And so, if listeners, if you guys know of any podcasts like that, I don't mean two lumpy, sweaty dudes talking about this stuff because that's creepy. I mean like
What are you doing?
two like I mean like two like yeah. I don't mean some goons. I mean like some well-adjusted like women that are about it. That are however old we are, old, and they're sitting there. They're talking about like. I don't know. It's like a Barbie podcast or like a I don't know what else. She-Ra. I'm talking about She-Ra or whatever. And I don't mean this new one. I don't mean that new one. I mean like the people that just exist in these '80s cartoons. Are they out there? If they are, let us know because I want to delve into it and I want to know all about it. I want in. So.
Nice. I never thought about it. I mean,
neither had I until now. So
well, there you go.
Let's find out.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, there were so many though to pick from. I mean, there were okay, as much as I loved it when I was younger in the 80s, how about the WrestleMania? It was like Hulk Hogan and what was that?
Hulk Hogan. It was Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Rock and Wrestling, yes.
Rock and Wrestling, yeah. That
pretty bad too.
Yeah, and that's another one that I don't remember a whole lot about that one because I was a big wrestling fan, especially back then. That was like when I first got into wrestling, and but the thing is, I don't remember anything about that cartoon except for one episode where they had to go to a fashion show and they couldn't, they couldn't like they were wearing all these clothes, and like Andre the Giant was too big to wear clothes, so he had to wear a tent. He had to put a tent on. And everybody else was wearing like suits and stuff and all these crazy 80s clothes and and they were like, oh, these aren't comfortable, and so like they were bombing at the fashion show, so like they all just like flexed and it ripped off all the clothes exploded off of them, and then they did the fashion show. They went down the runway like in their wrestling gear and they won the fashion show.
Perfect. That's exactly what it should.
Who writes that trash? That's garbage. Who writes that?
Have you listened to the heel and like I guess hero talk on the wrestling from the 80s? That's the kind of people who writes that crap.
No, that was probably Flint Dille. I bet Flint Dille wrote that episode.
I have actually. That's very likely.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of that, hey, we are back though with our old buddy Donald Glut.
Oh,
who
this one, I forgot to look up who wrote this one.
yeah,
This is
Donald Glut,
This is a Donald Glut. Okay.
yeah, the guy who writes books on dinosaurs. He's their go-to for dinosaurs. So it actually makes a lot of sense that he wrote this episode. He may have written the second one. I'm not sure.
Keep that in mind, because that's going to play into something that I discovered here down the line. So yeah, keep that in mind. That this is a Donald Glut episode. This is Transformers season 2, episode 2, 3, episode 3. Dinobot Island,
part 1.
Part 1, multi-part.
So
rare multi-part.
Yeah, this is one of the episodes where they throw a bunch of new characters in there. They just toss them in.
They sure did, and they didn't even bother to identify a lot of them. Like
Nope.
I saw in like the Autobots like hanging out where they're like in the arc, like just hanging out. I saw Trax in there. I'm pretty sure. Who was that was a very good toy. That was one of the rare Transformers that I owned.
Yeah, he's pretty unique actually as far as Transformers go.
He was good. That was a really good one. That was he looked good in both forms, and he had like the missile launchers and everything, and he had like the wings that would pop out, so he was almost like almost a triple changer, but not really.
Flight mode.
That was a good one. Oh, yeah.
But we open up to Bumblebee with a jetpack with Power Glide, who I think he's trying to do a Jackie Gleason thing.
I don't know what this guy's doing here. This is a mess.
A bang zoom to the moon. He's going around just hot dogging around Bumblebee.
And he says, I got too much pizzazz for him. Pizzazz.
He flies upwards through these waves that they encounter. Nothing to it when you got the zap. I was waiting for him to start going zip zap zap.
I don't know what this guy was going for here. However, though, I do need to take a little sidebar here and talk about the name Power Glide. Because this dredged some old memories up that I feel like I need to touch on here for a second. So so this is a story about my aunt's boyfriend back in the late 70s and the early 80s. Okay, I'm gonna at some point down the road, I'm probably going to have to tell another story about this guy that's even better than this one. But maybe if we do a subdivisions on the band Rush. But anyway,
that's
bear with me,
because
it's eat its own tail. So
Ouroborosian, yes,
right. So I'm gonna tell you this one. So just enjoy this for now. Back in the late 70s, my aunt had this boyfriend that was a complete slacker, and this dude like just sat and drank beer and did other things that I won't say on the show because we're PG rated. But for the hip folks out there, just know that he was a big fan of black lights and incense, if you know what I mean. So like all day, this dude would just sit on the couch and like watch TV, complete burnout, and it was to the point where he was. When I was 5, this guy who was like in his like early 20s was my best friend because we were on the same intellectual level. Like, yeah, both big fans of like Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, and we watched these things. And we knew what was going on because we were both equally as intelligent at that point. So a 5-year-old and a 22-year-old, however old he was. So. But this dude, no job, no money, I don't know how he had money to get beer. I think he just leached off of my aunt. But my grandfather hated this dude, like absolutely loathed this dude, and he would call him Power Glide to his face. I don't know. I had no idea. But when he would call him that, it would just infuriate him and my aunt. Like they would walk in and my grandpa would be like, hey, there's daughter's name and old Power Glide, and they would just get like fuming mad and storm out of the house every time that he would pull this stuff because my grandpa just hated this dude, right? Never understood it, but whatever it was. So flash forward to like 1999 or so, right? And my friends and I are all really big into classic cars, and it was like a group of like 5 or 6 of us, and we've most of us all have old like 60s and 70s cars. Hoopties. Nobody had the top dollar car. Nobody had like Barracudas or anything like that. We all had like the lesser known ones, but they were pretty good. They're still good cars. So But I ended up getting this 72 Chevelle off of a friend of mine for $100. And car folks out there, do not get excited about this 72 Chevelle, because this was not a good car. It was a 4-door. It had a straight six. It didn't have a V8 in it. Nothing worked correctly. If you're not a car person, just ignore that. And imagine that your friend has like a Bandai Jetfire, and you have a Leader 1 that's painted like Jetfire with a Sharpie. That's the equivalent of this piece of trash car that I had. So anyway, I get this car, I'm driving it. When I bought it, I'm driving it with the guy I bought it from. And I was like, "Hey, there's something wrong with the transmission in this thing, dude." And he's like, "Nah, it's fine. What are you talking about?" I was like, "Dude, I'm going 40 and it hasn't shifted yet. It's still in first gear." And he goes, "No. It's got a power glide in it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "It's a power glide transmission. It's shiftless." And it all made sense. My grandpa called this guy power glide because he was shiftless. He didn't work. And
Oh my god!
it made so much sense. And then so me seeing this dude named Power Glide on here, which is supposed to be like an aviation reference, it just made like it to me. It just brought up a loser deadbeat pseudo uncle of mine. So yeah, sorry about that. Sorry that story took so long, but I feel like I had to get that out of my system there. So,
honestly, the way this guy treats Spike and everything during the episode, it's pretty apt. I mean, let's be honest. But yeah. So anyways, let's go back to this. They go. He's like, Bumblebee's talking about these waves, this weird energy. It's throwing him off, and it's like making him crash on the island. A power glide is just zip zapping around him, and lands while Bumblebee crashes on the ground. They're looking around, going, "Oh, this is just like those videos we watched when we were building the Dinobots." And I swear to God, the animation of the dinosaurs in here looked like someone had only seen the old black and white King Kong movie,
right.
And that's how they look and how they walk and stuff. The stop motion, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about, and yeah, everything was real jerky.
Like
it was like they, it was like they animated on threes. It was, yeah, yeah. Oh God, the thing is, like, I couldn't say that the animation was bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just weird and out of place. And Bumblebee gets up though, and he says that he has a ding in the caboose. So I guess he hurt his butt.
Yeah.
But while they're looking around though, we get that a couple of episodes ago, we got that emotional, like all strings version of the theme.
Oh yeah,
and we got that again here, and it's pretty cool.
It almost seems like it's like this theme that's supposed to mean like something, wonderment or something like that. I don't know. It's very depends on the mood in the moment, I guess.
It's very sad though. It's very emotional. It's like that's like when like when your girlfriend's moving away. Yeah, you get to play that song.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
I don't have a girlfriend. I have a wife, so she's not going. She's not going anywhere.
So. She's not moving away. She's stuck with me now.
So, which technically makes her my ex-girlfriend now, but that's what she's.
Oh God,
that. So, yeah, I know.
Okay,
right. Anyway, Power Glide must be a real tiny jet though, because he's the same size as Bumblebee. He's a little dude.
He's another mini car or whatever mini bot. I guess
was he a mini bot?
He was a terrible one. Yes, I've got it.
It was
actually they did some really cool later ones, like third-party ones and stuff. They've tried to get him right so much. They never quite got it right. The third-party toy makers actually did pretty good with it. But anyways, so this random energy field island in the middle of the ocean that doesn't really belong there, it's like an island at a time, is such a Star Trek the original series plot. The whole thing is. Like they would like go through like you remember the city on the edge of forever, they go through the archway. It's just like that. It's like, oh, well, now we're in the old times and we're not, or during this point in history, we're not questioning why it's here. It's just here.
See, I don't feel like they really they did enough to explain that was where the island came from, because it seemed like they were just like, hey, there's just like the Savage Land from the X-Men is out there.
Yeah.
And you can just go there. And this energy field seemed very superfluous to the whole thing. And it wasn't until like much later on and talking to you now that I was like, oh, I guess it was like a Bermuda Triangle kind of thing.
It kind of was, just random. They were never trying to figure it out. They just
because nobody cared.
Spoiler
nobody
warning,
cared about it at all
on this island. It's like, here you go, you guys hang out there.
Nobody cared about it at all. So they go back and report this dinosaur place to the Autobots, and somebody goes, like, we have enough headaches with Dinobots, let alone dinosaurs.
That sounds like Huffer, probably.
I don't know, but I swear to God that somebody else used that joke, that not pun, in a previous episode. I think that may have been in the very first appearance of the Dinobots. I think
probably.
I don't remember, and I don't. I couldn't go through my notes enough to find it, so I lost my old notes. So
before you get there, though, Bumblebee is so irritated with the Powerglide. I guess he's he's the guy hanging out with him because he's the new guy around. He goes, like when he says, can't he just save the guy without making a commercial? The irony of that.
No kidding. Yeah, I know. I made that note. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah,
so that was really funny. But they didn't even bother to explain where this guy came from or who he was. It was just like he was just there and
just hanging out.
Yeah.
They found him under a rock with everyone else apparently. So yeah, they're back at the Ark, like he said, and Blaster debuts.
Hold up. Before Blaster comes out, though. Yeah. Okay, so because I love Blaster showing up, and that was great. So somebody, like, I guess it's Wheeljack decides he's going to demonstrate how to control the Dinobots, and he just pushes a button and a door opens up, and then Grimlock is just right behind this door. Like Grimlock just spends all day long hanging out behind this door. That's not that he just stands there. He's just there all day long. He's like,
I swear they did this in another episode the same way. I think they just hang out in a dark room.
There's another room that's just for them, but he was just standing there waiting to go. It was just like it opens up and he's right there.
Yeah, they're photo aware. As soon as the light hits them, they wake up or something. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this is like, I guess they all have the patience of saints. Like, between this and Shockwave sitting for 4 million years in a control room, I guess they can just wait. They have waiting circuits or something. So, oh my God.
Talks about doing a demonstration to show how good the Dinobots have gotten. And to do this, inexplicably, he says, "Hey, Blaster, would you give us some tunes?" And Blaster transforms and does like a whole DJ thing, coming at you back, on top of the charts.
Oh my God, this was like the worst. This is like a terrible TV version of what they think a DJ sounds like.
Yeah, but the guy sounds good doing it now. And no, I love it though. He transforms into a boombox and just sits there. So the whole thing is like Wheeljack commands Grimlock to use his fire to hit a button, because that's not going to end badly. So he does. He turns it on, and they're listening to like it's like the house music of Transformers. Every time like jazz plays music real loud,
right.
It's like the Muzak. That's what they have in the background. So yeah. Anyways, he starts playing it, and everyone's complaining about how loud it is, and they're all covering their ears and just the whole Ark. And then Slag and Sludge are like, "Oh, is it our turn? I guess." So they transform, start walking over, no one noticing these two hulking dinosaurs walking over.
Oh my God.
And they basically crash into Grimlock. Grimlock shoots flame everywhere. Once again, the Ark is getting destroyed, because it hasn't happened like every episode or every other episode.
These guys start a total mosh pit. It's like it's nuts.
Once again, we're back at the Ark of Theseus. So how much of this is actually the Ark, and how much of just rock now?
Yeah.
And Swoop and Snarl are hanging out in another room. I thought it'd be fun. Let's get involved.
Oh, I see this. But here's what's funny: is that they transform into their dinosaur mode. But the thing is, there's like a pillar in the way, so they don't have to animate them transforming. It's like a bad Saturday Night Live skit where like this dude just they walk behind a pillar. And they come out and they're robot dinosaurs. It's like, guys, we don't have any reference sheets on how to actually transform these guys. So let's just.
Not a bad thing, man, considering how some of the bad references on the ACOM episodes go. But yeah, I didn't even notice that, but it makes complete sense now. Like they're robots, so now they're dinosaurs.
Yeah, you can kind of see like a couple of feet moving, but you don't see anything. It's just like they just come out. Like it was like some terrible like Superman trash of him like going to like a phone booth and coming out
completely. And they are bulls in a china shop, man. They
the
mosh pit is the perfect. So
they smash up till they set Turtle on fire, and somehow there's like a creep of fire going down the line or whatever. Like this is pretty funny. But something I noticed, there's another new Transformer here. There's a Ferrari fire car.
It's a Lambo. It's a
Lambo. Yeah,
that is that's First Aid. Inferno, which is the red fire truck.
Well, he's old school though, right? He's like Gen 1 or like first series, right?
trying to remember, was he in the first season? He might have been. I'm for some reason I'm thinking he wasn't.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I thought he was like an older. I thought he was like a launch.
Apparently, everyone don't yell at your pod device. Because I'm having a senior moment. But
so
luckily,
what's a Lamborghini gonna do against a fire? What does he have?
He's a fire chief.
He doesn't do anything.
He's a fire chief, man.
Chiefing to who?
He's chiefing. He's chiefing the
this guy.
Fire.
Anything.
I almost dropped an F-bomb. So thank goodness Chris Christopherson bot throws a force field in front of Teletran 1.
But this guy can do something. He's got like a Super Friends style force field.
He does. He shoots it right out of his gun.
Yeah.
It does look like a wom sound.
I know. It was a Super Friends force field. So
it really was.
So that guy First Aid though. Is he the same? Is he just like a recolored like the toy? Is he like a recolored Sideswipe?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
With sirens on top, yeah. And trying to think, actually, I think a lot of the same. No, some of the internal parts are like basically swapped with the red and white and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he's exactly the same car.
Okay. As Sideswipe there, right?
As Sideswipe, yeah.
Not Sunstreaker.
No, it's Sideswipe.
Okay.
Yeah. So this whole thing goes on, and Optimus Prime does the best thing he could possibly do. He turns to Grimlock and says, "Get these guys under control. You're the leader. You do something about it."
Why didn't we think of this earlier?
He's like, "Oh yeah, I am the leader." Okay,
dude. So I'm always harping on Optimus Prime, given the transform command. He loves giving to him, transform and do this or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, Grimlock is just the command, transform and end chaos.
Yes.
Oh, this is good.
And
they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll transform.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. No.
So they get the idea of by the way, they get the idea of sending them to Dinobot Island, or the island, sorry, to go train and stuff, because there's a lot of room. They're not going to destroy the base over and over and over again. And Soundwave and Ravage are just hanging out on the outside of the volcano.
Finally, 10 minutes into this episode, we get a Decepticon.
And honestly, Decepticons do less damage than the Dinobots do, so I mean it's kind of a toss up here.
No kidding.
But Soundwave and Ravage are just hanging out there, and they I guess it's a slow day of world domination or something. They're not stealing power from anywhere, so they've got to.
They're not.
Not yet.
Yes.
So they come out of the there's an exterior door on the volcano now they've made, and the Dinobots all walk out, and they're like, "Hey, so we're gonna have Paraglide guide you to the island, so you guys can train and have fun." But what does Powerglide do? He does the thing every Autobot does. "Hey, Spike, you gonna jump
in, buddy?" And we see how tiny he really is here. He's real small. He's real small. Tiny. So these guys have found an uncharted island with dinosaurs living on it, completely untouched. So this is probably the third most important scientific discovery of the 20th century here.
Yeah.
Like behind actually meeting the Transformers and realizing that there's life on other planets, right? That's probably the most important one. Nuclear power, splitting the atom. That's probably, I would put that as 1 or 2, 1A and 1B, whatever. And this has to be at least number 3.
At least, very, very least.
I mean, at least. I mean, if the scientific community got a hold of this, I mean, this is an extremely important thing. And they just kind of shelved it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we found these dinosaurs," and they're like, "Oh cool," and then nobody cared until let's dump off these unruly hooligans on that island over there.
We can't deal with kids. Our kids are idiots and they have ADHD. Let's just throw them off in this island. That'll be fine.
Put our broke brain Frankensteins over here. Let them smash this place up.
And the thing is, they didn't tell anyone else. Like the scientific communities, they would have set up a lab there.
I know.
I mean, John Hammond would have been like, "Hey, this is my island now. Look what I could do."
I know. He would have spared no expense.
So,
Chilean sea bass all day long in that place.
I got to tell you something hilarious. She's
okay.
Kill me. Alice, my wife, thought for years that it was chili and sea bass. Like they're gonna have a bowl of chili and sea bass.
Oh, that sounds delicious, though. I would love to have some chili and sea bass.
So bad. I said it was Chilean sea bass.
All right. I'm gonna go have that for lunch now. So Grimlock is real excited because there's more room for Stomp on Dinobot Island. Yes, he's real excited, and they can all fly in robot form. Please keep this in mind as this is going to come. This is going to be Chekhov's gun and come back later on in the episode. They get there, they christen it Dinobot Island, and I can't do the voice because my throat is shredded. But me, Grimlock, love Dinobot Island.
Love Dinobot Island.
Thank you. I wish if I did that, I would
a really awful version. Yeah, So once again, the most prevalent trait amongst all the Autobots. We're going to put Spike in danger first 5 minutes.
And then they shoot at him. Swoop shoots at him in that nest. He's stuck in a nest of pterodactyls. Pterodons.
Oh yeah, some pterosaur goes and like grabs him and throws him in this nest with eggs, and he's like, "What am I doing here?" And I swear that scene is right out of like Land of the Lost.
I know. I really like that scene actually. I thought it was very cool.
It was a nice throwback.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I like all that kind of like dinosaur stuff, but
I joked about how they're animated and how terrible they look, but in a way, it's a nice it's a nice callback to old Hollywood stop motion animation to me. So I kind of dug it in a way like that too.
I agree. But yeah, he's stuck in these giant eggs, and he's like wondering if they're gonna hatch a battleship out of there. And I'm like, dude, Spike, come on, man, you gotta up the comedy a little bit here. We need a better punch up guy than whoever's writing this trash.
Yeah, so. Laserbeak shows up on the island because he's followed them there because once again, I mean, they're the masters of like subterfuge and spying, which is great. He is sitting on this cliff like outcropping just by himself, and there's this like little pterosaur, like baby pterosaur is running up on him like he looks at him like side eyes and shoots him, goes back. He's like, I don't have time for you, kid.
That was such a cool scene. I love that. Spike has been kidnapped about 14 times by dinosaurs at this point, and all he does is yell help over and over again. Nessie
picks him up
because that was not
Edhatestransformers.
Dude, that I was like, that's a Loch Ness monster. That's not a brontosaurus. Hydrotherasaurus.
Yep, shows up and grabs Spike and carries him off.
Hey, so here's a question. So they sent Laserbeak there to spy on this whole thing. Why? Like, they have the villain screen. They have these omniscient villain screens. Why do they need Laserbeak to do this? Since they
maybe they don't have the camera set up on that island yet. They just discovered it.
Maybe Laserbeak is the villain screen. Maybe he is the feed for the villain screen.
Is. Just like
wasn't there another bird tape?
Yeah,
also?
Buzzsaw. Buzzsaw is the one that came with Soundwave when you got him. So of course, Laserbeak.
Oh, for real?
He came with Soundwave. He's like gold and black colored. So of course, everyone wanted Laserbeak with Soundwave when they were kids. So they had to go buy the Laserbeak, and I think it was Laserbeak came with Frenzy set. Anyways, and then like Ravage came with
Rumble and Ravage came together. Yeah, I remember my friend getting that.
As the longtime controversy in the fandom goes, Rumble is red, Frenzy is blue in the toys. Frenzy is red, Rumble is blue in the show.
Oh yeah,
Theorib. Yeah. Anyways, that's a whole new
Blue Streak. Blue Streak was always blue. Blue Streak was always a blue card.
You're wrong, original. But I'll give you. Yeah. Okay. So getting off of the Mandela effect of toys. So Powerglide loses track of Spike like every 5 minutes. He just wanders off.
Terrible. God, he's awful.
He is like the worst caretaker, and like he's just basically it's this whole sequence is just him getting in trouble as prey over and over again.
And the bar for babysitting Spike is not high.
No,
the bar is extremely low for watching this kid because he's good. Yeah, they'll shoot directly. And Swoop's already done it in this episode. So the Dinobots are training here, and so Grimlock is commanding them to do fire stuff and to do tail stuff.
do Swoop, do flying stuff. Tail stuff. Dude. Great.
Oh, this is good.
So yeah, I guess Powerglide and Spike left at this point. That's why he's doing training with them. Spike was like, just take me home, please. But all this time, the Laserbeak's been spying for the Decepticons. The Decepticons show up, and Starscream is freaked out about this island. He's like, this whole energy is weird. He's like, are you sure you want to be here, Megatron? Megatron's like, just shut up. Yes, we're doing this.
He was the voice of reason here. He was finally saying something had a decent I don't know, I don't know about this, but
It's a little
something
shaky.
cool though. The Soundwave starts making the cubes to hold the energon in, and apparently those have leveled up a little bit, and they can
Oh
actually
yeah,
just siphon
you
energy
just
from
aim it.
lava. Yeah, you just aim it, and it just sucks up like a tube of lava. And why was this island so important? Why was this so unique? Like there aren't like 150 other active volcanoes in the world. Why were they
Well, I
like,
don't
ooh,
know.
we're gonna
I
do
feel
this
like we
one?
all believe at this time in our history, which I'm sure it probably was, this time in our history was so rife with constant eruptions and volcanoes, earthquakes, and things were constantly happening. So there's this sort of idea, like, when you look at a show like Land of the Lost, or you look at the original King Kong, things like that, there's always seismic events going on and dinosaurs around. You know,
Mhm.
notwithstanding the fact that all these dinosaurs that were on the island at the same time, we had no business being on the island at the same time, because they all happened over hundreds of millions of years of evolution. But I'm sure volcanoes and stuff happened over those hundreds of millions of years. So, but we have this thing in our minds because of how Hollywood portrayed these dinosaur movies and things, that there's constantly volcanic eruption. So obviously it's going to play into the episode. So yeah, they're going to go and siphon all that magma, I guess. Makes sense. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, we also have some other new characters showing up. There is Blitzwing shows up
Does
for
he?
like a scene.
I didn't even catch that.
He's like tan and purple with like a taint turret on his back, but like has jet wings and stuff because he's one of the triple changers.
But yeah, I was say yeah, I was say
Yeah,
he
he shows up
was
and
okay.
shoots stuff.
I didn't even catch that. It must have been super quick. I didn't even
Yeah,
catch
it
that.
was. Yeah, you blinking in
Okay.
this, and also well, I'll get into the other ones that show up here soon. But so yeah, Blitzwing shows up, and then we cut to Bumblebee and Spike are leaving the
Oh
library.
boy. Oh boy. This may be the single greatest scene in all of Transformers here. Okay, so oh my god. So Spike and Bumblebee are like in town
Yeah.
somewhere. There's a chocolate shop behind them. That's pretty cool. They're coming out of the library here, and Spike's got an armload of books. He's gonna study up on dinosaurs. I don't know why he's all of a sudden very interested in dinosaurs, but he wants to keep any dinosaur experience strictly in books at this point. He's exclusively dinosaur books and no more actual dinosaur contact anymore. Fair enough. So he's got an armload of books. The first one he's got there is it's a French book apparently, because it's titled Ère Cénozoïque, with the subtitle Période Tertiaire,
Hmm.
which are two different things, because the Cenozoic era is the era that we are currently in, which I believe you probably know since you are a student of Earth sciences. And the Tertiary period, it was like 66 billion years ago. So that must be a pretty expansive book. The other book here is either by or about a guy named Gideon Mantell. This was the hidden gem here, though. This took me a while to figure this out. I didn't know who Gideon Mantell was, but I found out, and this is pretty cool. And also the fact that Donald Glut, this episode, ties in really well to this, because Gideon Mantell was the first person to discover and identify dinosaur fossil teeth in 1822, and basically started the scientific discovery of dinosaurs.
Wow, that
I
was
thought that was
definitely a
pretty cool.
Donald Glut drop.
I thought so. I thought so too. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
And because I'm sure that's something that he threw in there. I'm sure that he
Oh
somehow
yeah.
got that. Like, hey man, if you can put this little Easter egg in there, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So I learned something new today about the discovery of dinosaurs. So
Very cool. Like
and I hope all you listeners did too. You guys need to go all read up on Gideon Mantell, also an obstetrician.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
just made the jump.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're walking down the road, and once again we have a very Star Trek-like effect with a vortex opening up, and Conan riding a mastodon comes through there.
Dude, this was the best thing of all time. So this rift opens up. This dude's he's like a caveman, and he's riding a giant woolly man, but he's got a spear. And when he comes out, I can't even imitate it, because he babbles some rapid fire gibberish for like 45 seconds, and it's the funniest thing I've ever heard in Transformers. I had to back this up 10 times. It was so good. I mean, I literally this morning I'm watching this and I had tears streaming down my face because it was so funny. And I wish that we could cut that that audio in here so that I could laugh at it again, because it was the absolute best thing I've ever heard in my life. I imagine that's what like hardcore music sounds like to old people. That's like, dude. Oh my god, this was so good. And he ends it with a ha ha ha, like a big laugh. And, so like a car crashes into a mailbox and explodes, and people are panicking and all this stuff. It's so good, dude. It's so good, but it's just him. There's nobody. It's not like a horde of these guys. There's one dude on a woolly mammoth, and the entire city is just like in abject panic.
Conan comes through the portal.
Dude,
of course,
oh my god, the single greatest scene in all of the show. That's it. That's it. Like
done.
Like it's peaked. Nothing will ever be as good as that. As good as that.
Perfect.
It's so good. Oh my god.
So yeah. So with that,
that's all we get. That's all we get is that the car crashes.
The whole thing in Spike run. Spike drops all the books on the ground. It's like, no, I'm done. I don't know what's going to cost him to carry books with him, but whatever. And that was it. The portal closes and everything's fine. I guess.
Just that one dude.
Yeah, and so yeah, he's hanging out there in town. So we go back to the island. We see some new seekers now. The Coneheads, Ramjet and Thrust, which I guess Dirge will be along soon too, like the third of the Coneheads. And they're just collecting the energon, and the Dinobots are like, nope, not on our island. And they this is what you're talking about. Maybe they can fly, but instead of flying, they all transform and like run off.
Well, no, they do, but
I think I know you're going with the flying thing.
Yeah, that part's fine. Whatever, like it's whatever. So
that's kind of smart though. He starts to stampede of all these wrongly animated dinosaurs. He shoots at them until they get all excited and they run together in a herd for some reason. Meat eaters and herbivores, and they're all going after. He's kind of funneling towards the Dinobots on this to this cliff point.
It's where they hold Simba up. They're
they're
going that rock.
Not yet, but soon, I'm sure. The next portal, I'm sure, opens up. But anyways, this is what you're talking about, where they get
okay. So yeah, they do that whole thing where there's a stampede coming and they're on the edge of the cliff and they keep backing up, and then eventually they all the dinosaurs run off the edge. They all fall off the edge of the cliff. And they fall into a tar pit. Like, bro, you guys were literally flying in robot form earlier. And
also idiots.
Even if you discount that, one of them's beast mode is literally a flying creature that is harder for him to walk than it is for him to fly. But in addition to that, okay, so I had to check this a couple times because when they're animating them on the edge of the cliff, there's only 4 of them there, and then they fall off, and then because Swoop's not there, and then like when they fall off the cliff, they're falling. Like you can clearly behind Grimlock, you can see Swoop, like right behind him. And then they all fall in a tar pit.
Yeah, it's like he was going to be able to fly away, but no, there's a Grimlock to fall on him. So,
Yeah, I don't know. But he wasn't even there. He wasn't even because the scene was like the camera was up high. It was like a crane shot almost looking down, and like Swoop wasn't anywhere around. He wasn't in robot form, or I don't know.
Maybe he was being the villain cam for a moment, or the hero cam, whichever you want.
Maybe he was.
Oh, he's like, I should go down there and go down with him. And of course, everything ensues. They fall in tar pits, and that's how the episode ends. Like they're drowning, or I should not drowning. They're like sinking in a very perfectly laid trap of a tar pit. It's just like it was down there waiting for something to fall into it. Obviously, the entire time.
And then they sink down because it was bubbling up, of course. So, that was the end, and we get a little preview of the next episode, which looks action packed with all kinds of other stuff. Looks like some cowboys coming through some rifts, and
we're not
very excited.
We're not just in the Paleozoic era. We were going to go right into the Old West. So, actually, I say Paleozoic. There are so many eras represented in the dinosaurs that was all wrong. But anyways, we'll
including the period tertiary.
Yes.
So, yeah. And that was it. Man, I can't lie here. I actually like this episode. I really like the ambience of the paintings of like prehistory from like old textbooks and like Time Life books or whatever, and like you said, like old Hollywood like dinosaur movies and that kind of thing. I think that the background art here gets kind of close to that. It's like I had a bunch of those Time Life books when I was a kid, and a lot of them about like early man and prehistory and stuff. There were always these really cool paintings of like a meadow with like some dinosaurs or some like cavemen or something, or like fighting over like a tar pit, or kind of like the opening bits from 2001, that kind of thing. And I like that kind of stuff. I really like that kind of stuff. And I thought this kind of did that. But I mean, there's time travel. There's this has Dinobots. There's new Transformers in this. There's that, oh my god, that scene of the caveman on the back of the woolly mammoth. Like I'm not even exaggerating here. This is not hyperbole. I literally backed that up so many times because I was crying laughing at it. It was so funny.
I have zero.
I'm gonna go back and watch it again when we're done here. I'm gonna watch it about 10 more times today. And if this was 2002, that would be my ringtone on my phone. It would be my text alert sound on my phone. If I don't even know how to make a text. I don't even know how to make a ringtone anymore. I don't even know what my ringtone is.
Yeah, I don't even think I would let it go off. Usually on mute.
I know my phone's permanent. That's the first thing I do when I buy a new phone is put it on mute.
I don't want to hear that thing.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to go. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to go 3 woolly mammoths out of 5. This was a fun episode. From for kid brain, and I'm gonna have to do the same for adult brain, because it was just like a whole lot of fun watching this episode. This was real good. So yeah. Where are you at on this one? How far apart are we on this one?
So I think one of the things that we come to at the end here is I'm always coming into these with almost like my kid brain memory of it. And so I don't really remember it that much as a kid, though. Maybe it's one of the ones I watched and I was like, whatever. But honestly, I think everything about this, going back and watching it again and appreciating it for different ways, from the badly sourced dinosaurs on the island, and kind of realizing where they probably got the I don't know, the impetus to make them that way. A lot of references, I think, from Donald Glut. I think he really had a lot of input on how this is animated and such. So I really appreciated that. Honestly, the worst parts of the episode was when the Dinobots are talking. That was just really, really, really bad. But otherwise, it was a good, fun episode. Like I said, it felt very original series Star Trek to me. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna definitely have to give it 3 putting Spike in danger scenes out of 5. They do great at that. They constantly put him in danger, and it's pretty much a trope of the show at this point. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, good. Glad we were at the same spot on this. This was a real fun episode. I hope part 2 is equally as fun as this. So,
and I'm sure we'll see a lot of using the new characters to do things. And when they do this, they sort of shunt in the characters and they make the episode about the new characters. And then later on, it's the other season 1 guys are starting to slowly fall off, but they're still in this. So, and I think we're going to see a lot more of the characters that haven't disappeared completely, and when we watch Megatron's Master Plan, when we coming up during season 2. But anyways,
okay.
It was just fun. I mean, it made me want to go and look at old, like I said, old picture books of dinosaurs that are we know are drawn wrong. It doesn't matter because it's kind of nice throwbacks.
Exactly. That was like, I don't know, like the dinosaur stuff from like when we were kids, when I was a kid or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even it was even old back then. But I'm definitely gonna dig up those Time Life books because I have a whole set of them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I really love that Land of the Lost look too. It was great.
Yeah. Giant stuff like that, like the giant eggs was it was cool. Yeah, I always think of every time you say Land of the Lost, my brain goes to what was it, 1 million years BC? Is that what it was called, with the one with like Ringo Starr, where he's a caveman, and they drop that egg off of the like onto like a geyser or something like that, and it fries the egg like in a crater, like that's
so stupid but great.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. like I said earlier before the show, if I have something coming up here, I'll be glad to talk about it when it comes to fruition. So lots of cool stuff coming up. And hopefully we won't have a weekend like last weekend. I'll be honest with you. Jess emailed me and said, "Dude, you look rough. Get some sleep." It's like, man, I'm really bad on that.
Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, you're the best.
Oh man, that's
she's trying to get caught up. She didn't expect us to jump into season 2 so fast, but here we are.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
anyways, do you have anything else going on, man?
Not. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. No. I mean, nothing that pertains to the show. I mean, I got.
Okay.
I mean,
and have a good time at Dropkick Murphys, and
I am going to see the Dropkick Murphys tonight. I'm very excited about that because the last time they played here, my son was very new and could not get out of the house. But somehow magically, I'm going to go to 2 musical shows 2 nights in a row. This is something I probably haven't done since I was in my 20s.
Good luck.
I don't know. Yeah, I had to take Monday off because I'm probably going to be sweating Jamesons after seeing Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, and then trust
Guinness,
me, when I went to go see oh my gosh, Floggy Molly. If you're anything like me, you're gonna you'll go on the floor and go, nah, I don't want to be on the floor because
I absolutely no.
I was like, I was about to fight in that show because I wanted to be left alone. It's like,
I'll be back in the old man side, the crossed arms old man section in the back. Is where I'll be, which is AKA by the bar, where I can just keep replenishing my supply of whatever whiskey and or beer I happen to be drinking, probably Jameson's and Guinness. Got to keep it topical. You got to keep it off.
Good move. So, that's very smart.
Bushmills, maybe. I don't know. Bushmills.
Bushmills and Jameson, I'm sure. It depends on if they are Protestant or Catholic. I don't know. Tullamore and it might be Tullamore and Jameson. They're one or the other. Oh. Anyways, so
Celtic or Rangers?
Celtic
or Rangers? Which one of those is Catholic and which one's Protestant?
Man,
I don't know either. But
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm Welsh. We don't care about that stuff. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying thank you to all of you. And if you'd like to check out the small but growing community, check out our link for the Discord in the show notes on the podcast app. And if you see us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. 5-star rating on podcast stuff. Share our things if you wouldn't mind, if you like it. And anything that you could do to help us grow this would be amazing, and we appreciate everything. Also, if you want to send an email, you can go send an email to morethanmeetstheseguys@gmail or edhatestransformers@gmail as well. So I'm gonna cut it there, guys. Until next week, we'll see what happens on Dinobot Island.
I do have a quote this week, though.
Okay, good. I wasn't going to put you on the spot again because you seem
I decided to be forewarned and forearmed. So, Grimlock, get your noodle out of my face.
That's from the movie. Yes.
That's from the movie. Oh, yes.
Spoiler. By Cup. Spoiler. Who, by the way, the voice actor for Cup was actually blacklisted in Hollywood during the McCarthyism of Hollywood.
No kidding. Who was it?
I will.
Zero Nostal.
I can't think of the name of his voice actor off the top of my head right now. He's an old Hollywood actor. Yeah. McCarthy blacklisted him. So yeah. I don't know if you can looking it up now. KUP Cup voice actor.
Lionel Stander.
Yes, Lionel Stander. I just remembered it as soon as you looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, he was McCarthy blacklisted him as a communist.
Was he a communist?
I don't think so. Is one of them. I could be wrong. Maybe he was. Whatever.
Maybe he was. They're all over the place.
Yeah, so anyways, nice. So yeah, we will see you guys on next week.
Next time.
Say hi to us.
All right. Roll out.
See you guys.